It is January 8th, episode. Watch out. All right. We're 3DS, three dudes who have a common interest in cryptocurrency, finance, technology, sports science, politics, and current events. The content provided in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, nor should it be, construed as financial advice. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and the guests and do not represent professional financial guidance. Always consult with a certified financial advisor or conduct your own research before making any investment decisions. Listeners act on this information at their own risk. Let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the world's on fire. Let's just get it out there right now. And I mean, we got fires in the Middle East. We got fires here in the homeland. I mean, California is always on fire, and that's not to be cynical, but they always have fires. This one looks bad. Um, did you guys know that the mayor, Karen Bass, she cut the budget? I Nobody could have foreseen what's going on right now, but what they've been experiencing the past 15 years, the out of control wildfires, and she cuts the budget $17.6 million. I don't know. To me, that's just another misstep in California's entire leadership.
100%. It's disgusting, bro. It drives me crazy to watch this shit happen. And people fucking running away, evacuating late. I mean, no water in fire hydrants, whatever the story is. Like, where are the funds? What have the taxpayer dollars contributed to? Like, what's truly going on? What's at the nucleus of the situation? Like, what the fuck is going on? And I think at minimum, people deserve to at least see some sort of paper trail from over the years. Same thing with the homelessness. Just, if you wanted to use California as a case study in general, just write out a couple of different wickets and then, run down your leads and find out where that money actually leaked out of the system into, and then start from there. But it truly is sad, man, because you already know these people ain't getting no fucking FEMA money, no, any type of relief package is going to be, who knows how long that would take and how minimal it actually would be.
Why do we think it's on fire? What, like, it's always California. I mean, like Colorado has theirs, and New Mexico got occasional, and a little bit of Utah and Wyoming, and there's like the onesie twosies here and there, and then we get it under control, and there's a lot that we don't even talk about. But why is California always on fire?
It's a desert, and there's a lot of unregulated lifestyle that happens, I guess you would say. I think that's a big contribution to that fact. When the time comes for the droughts in this season where people are trying to stay warm, but also there is no, hydration amongst literally anything, and almost everything's made out of concrete and wood in that area, so there's no vegetation to absorb any of the the brunt of the damage. So it's just ripping through these buildings because who knows if these things are even built to fucking code. So it just keeps on blowing through. I think that's one factor. I mean, and then you could go down that rabbit hole and get into many others.
I don't know. I've never done the research on it, but I also heard that they once had a bunch of lakes and rivers and stuff, and they've kind of like,
It was all redirected, and then they dammed it, but then they closed the dams because some Green New Deal scam initiative or something. No more hydroelectrics, something to do with that. So then it got redirected back into the Pacific, and I don't know. If I knew that we were going to go down the fire hole, I would have probably put 20 minutes into it. But it's sad.
I don't know. The whole politician thing you said in the beginning just seems like that's in politics for the last 40 years. They always do the things that are like go against common sense.
Yeah.
Uh, like cutting the budget for something like that, where, like you said, California, it almost seems like every year in the newspaper, it's always a fire going on, whether that's people doing it themselves or I feel like it's all people doing it, honestly. I don't feel like there's that many natural fires that really would occur. He said, unsupervised, unregulated lifestyle out there.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. It certainly can't help that, you know, defunded the fire department and they were already very limited on their resources. So they've undercut themselves and I don't know. They need a bailout, much like America needs a bailout. I mean, if I'm not going to say that. If anything was going on, yeah, that's our bailout is I mean, he makes us all feel more hopeful in the future because the current trajectory and the administration at large right now certainly makes it feel like they're just doing everything to make it more challenging for the next administration. It doesn't feel like there and it's a slight and it's not a direct like shot at him, but it's a shot at the world, it's a shot at the US and now the next administration has to come in and kind of clean up on aisle 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and so on and so forth. So I don't know.
The
That's
whole thing.
it's wild. Speaking of next administration, our, our guy wants to he wants to hold down Greenland.
Sure.
What's
Greenland.
what do you think is the um thought behind that?
Well,
I haven't heard about this yet, so I don't know what his plans are with Greenland. But just off the sound of it, Greenland has some resources I'm sure he's probably wants to capitalize on.
tactical footprint and resources.
Hmm.
I
I
mean,
mean, so to bring you up to speed, he's he's lobbed around the idea of Greenland, Mexico, Canada, and we're gonna change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. How does that sound? Sounds good, doesn't it? So the Gulf of America, it's I think that just encompasses more territory for us to cover. Um, Also, Nate and I briefly discussed this the other day, but uh, what about those mineral rights and things out there? Maybe that helps in getting those without having to go through another authority to just pop in some more rigs and start drill, baby, drill.
Makes sense from that perspective, like to change the name so that they can get more control over it.
Hmm.
But you're gonna have people pissed off that America's they're gonna feel like we're overstepping naming things after. I mean, but at the same time, it's like they're they're going out the same way they came in and taking shit. So if you're like shocked or upset about it, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a surprise. It seems like the American thing to do, honestly.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
we've been taking stuff our entire history, so
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I get it. Like they can get more control over like you said, the sea mineral rights. Um, like Nate said, I think Greenland too. That's a good strategic spot. It's like an island in the middle of the ocean,
well, you're
and
talking
they're
about
pretty.
Greenland again.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just think, like you said, thinking that whole situation right now. Again, I
Well,
don't know. I feel like he's kind of screwing himself though because he's putting too much stuff on the table. Like he wants to do this, he wants to do that, he wants to do all this, and it's like,
he's ambitious. I mean,
yeah.
he's a businessman. He's ambitious, and his ambition has got him a long way thus far. So,
Well,
uh,
I'm not saying don't be ambitious, but I'm just saying you're stacking up all these things, the to-do list over here. When something doesn't get completed, this side of the crowd is gonna be like, "We told you so. He wasn't gonna do whatever it is, you know."
sure,
So as far as that, but he don't probably care about stuff like that. That's probably what his PR team is telling him.
yeah, absolutely. And also, at the very least, the bug is in the ear, right? So
Yeah.
if it goes through, it's not new news. So, um, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has announced that he will be resigning. And so, yeah, I think it's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of happy people. I think it's interesting because uh, he went down to Mar-a-Lago what a month ago, and the talk right after that meeting was that uh, Trump wants to make Canada the 51st state, and blah blah blah. And then there was all this pressure on Trudeau, and he just came out yesterday and announced that he's gonna step down. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I personally, I won't care to take any one of those territory states, republics, whatever have you. I don't. It's we got our own headaches here, and we don't need to expand them into larger areas. We're not ready for that yet. Or maybe we are, and I just don't understand the dynamics that are at play.
Power play. Same thing with the Gulf of Mexico changing to Gulf of America. If they could make Canada essentially part of the United States, that's you just damn near doubled our size of our country. Like
Yeah, our GDP goes up significantly. The oil resources are,
everything, everything goes up. Population, everything. It's all gonna.
mhm.
I mean,
Crime.
crime. Yeah, I don't know. It's too cold up there. In the cold. It's
For
not.
bigger
Most of it.
borders, more borders.
More borders.
Yeah, but you could say that those borders are already being uh watched over. Like you don't necessarily, if it's not broke, why fix it? I don't think Canada has a mass migration like we do in the South coming through the border as they
They
do up
do.
there.
They do.
What people?
They funnel them through the US into Canada, and then they come back from Canada down into the US. It's well documented.
Well, that's news to me, but
I mean,
there you
look at Justin Trudeau. He's effectively what Kamala Harris borders are. You just let anybody roll in there. I mean, you can look it up. Talking to Canadians, they are fed up with their open borders just as much as we're fed up with our open border. So, I
I
mean,
don't see that really happening though. I don't see that going down. Like there's no way we're just gonna absolve Canada overnight.
I don't, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. So I proposed this question, Nate, the other day. If you had to take one based off of what you know, which one are you taking?
What do you mean? What is taking the country?
Yeah, if you were going to take
He's
Canada,
saying Mexico or
Mexico,
Canada.
or Greenland, you can only have one. Which one you getting?
Oh shit, give
You're
me
moving around the
Mexico.
Monopoly board. You're
I would like
taking
Mexico.
Mexico.
Hell yeah.
Sheesh.
He said, sheesh. Give me
Nate, what are you
Mexico.
taking?
Canada. I told you. It'd be Canada for sure. Assimilation. It's quick. Speak the same language. Quick. Currency's damn near the same. Adoption. Perfect. lifestyle. The populace is basically along the border that stretches the North American or North United States of America border anyway. So I just think it wouldn't be as difficult. It wouldn't be as much of a, I mean, obviously it'd be a pain in the fucking ass. Like that's not an easy, ad shift to just,
Hmm.
you know, link all these things together. But probably Canada or Greenland for the strategic asset. I mean, but you got a good strategic advantage having Canada too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think Canada's to play because we already have. I mean, we effectively train their military, so and they
They play
have
in the same sports too. They have
they
Canadian
right.
teams in the national, the American League. So,
So I think it would be a easier uh transition to take that then, and then like the amount of borders that you gotta cover with the east, the west. So I mean, we're already doing that down Cali and or down the west coast and the east coast, and then you make that. It's just that's so much more versus that little. You need to really just effectively you cut out that border that we have with Canada, and you just push that out and up. So I don't know. It seems and then you're dealing in Mexico. You're dealing with like cartels and it's getting that under control is like a whole nother monster that I don't think we're
well,
ready for.
you go the
So,
Canadian route, you take the logistically speaking easier way, or all these problems that everybody cries about that comes from the southern border, you can go in there and essentially you can have full reign and authority over everything and the power to change it instead of going through corrupt politicians. And that's
well,
been
yeah, that's where it all
Mexico's
stems from.
longest, that's their issue really. It's just
Hmm.
their system is corrupt. I mean, I don't know. Again, eventually, what if we just become one big super fucking the whole North America is America?
One
That won't
global.
happen. That I ain't gonna lie, that's not gonna happen.
No,
Mexico, no. Mexico, they want it. But if I had to pick one, hell yeah, I'd rather go vacation in Mexico than Canada.
I don't know. I've never been to our neighbors up north. I've never been up there, so I couldn't tell you what it's like up there.
You don't need to go up there. You can just come out where I'm at and go to Minnesota. You're basically in Canada. Same.
Minnesota.
It's that's different. It's different.
Okay.
Every city is different. Every city is different. Every
Every
state
city's
is
different,
different.
but same, but different. That's how I feel. Yeah, I mean, I moved from Florida to here. Instead of palm trees, it's fucking pine trees. Like it's similar. Everything is similar but different. I don't know how to explain it. Like even people, like in the sense of like, I don't know, people are generally more similar than they are different. Uh, they might say things a little differently, or they might have their own words for certain things. Like it's all the same shit. Most
Yeah.
people tend to think the same in the same ways than not. So that's all I'm saying.
So I want to change it up real quick here.
Flip it.
What are three things that you have to have on your person every day?
Phone, keys, wallet.
Phone, keys, wallet. Nate,
Three things.
three things. If you running out the house, what do you the first thing three things you're grabbing?
Unfortunately, my phone. Uh, I guess some sort of wallet structure. I
I don't
mean,
know. I guess I don't
if
I
you're leaving, it has to be keys.
yeah. So I guess maybe we expand it to five. I mean,
Uh,
I just keys are like, you know,
Hey, you asked. I
yeah, I
literally
know,
that's
I
something
know,
I
I
tell
know, I
myself
know.
before I walk out the door every time. I'm
Yeah,
like
I was
phone, keys,
thinking like if
wallet.
you were living in like not either one of you guys, but if you were living in like a city, you're not driving around. So like, what's that? Third thing. I knew everybody was gonna say phone. but sometimes you have your some people have their wallet in their phone, so that's like one. So I was going on that assumption. It was a bad assumption by me. So we'll expand it out to five for you guys since we're traditionalists.
Keys, wallet. Um, fuck. I don't know. Maybe a bottle. I might go. I might leave with a bottle of water if I'm going to work in the morning. Or some oranges. But on a normal everyday trip, I'm not really bringing too much with me. I hate to say it, but it might be this stupid thing. This might be the fourth thing that I have in
Hmm.
my pocket. But I mean, besides that, like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh, I need this. Like,
Well,
well,
I can tell you mine's probably phone, keys, wallet, water bottle, and AirPods. Because if the less time I got to listen to everybody else around me is better for me out in public.
But just stay home.
Well, that's not great either. I need to get out, need to move around
it's not good to cut yourself off, you know,
entirely.
audio entirely, even with the headphones, like,
Well,
people.
sometimes I just put them in just so people won't talk to me, but I'm not listening to anything. I used to do that at school all
Heard.
the time. I had a professor come up to me one day, tap me on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, what do you listen to?" I said, "Nothing. It's just so nobody talks to me."
A
It's a
deterrent.
deterrent. Yeah.
Yes,
Hey, we
absolutely.
telepathic. You see how that worked? See how that worked? God damn. All right, continue on, carry on.
Don't go that. Don't go that far.
Well, we got water bottle out of you and electronic sucker. So,
He's an
uh,
electronic sucker. Call those douche flutes.
douche flutes. God, there's so many names for those.
Megatron's cock.
What are you taking, Nate? What are your last two items?
I guess I got a douche flute as well, and then probably the pistol.
It's kind of where I figured you were going with yours. All right. Well, I mean, I just thought that was I wonder how greatly that changes with uh different folks. Because I know, you know, my wife, she has everything all in one on her phone. So
You know what I mean? Same, but different.
because of where I am, I don't have can't carry my pistol, so I got my little poker.
Get you some
When
bear
I
spray.
was in Florida, that stayed pretty much either on me or in the car.
That's
But here, I don't
I
know. I
mean
just
there was no recourse for having it, right? So even if you got pulled over, it's like, yeah, I got it over here. Same thing in Oklahoma. I was like, got pulled over, dude's like, yeah, we're hiking all day. I got a pistol right here in the center console. I don't care about that. Okay, fair enough. Have a good day. So,
I mean, it's like that in North Dakota, but it's just, you go over. I'm so close to Minnesota. Like this today, we went to the Walmart right across the
tap on
river.
Tim.
Huh?
Tap on Tim
Oh
Walls.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's crazy because when he was running, a lot of the like people in this area, they knew who he was. I didn't know who he was, and they're like, "What a terrible pick! That guy's a fucking criminal." And I'm like, like what'd he do? They're like, he's horrible. Like he's been
His
this
his,
terrible
his
governor.
body language, just that alone, just is so suspect to me. I'm like, this guy's got something going on here. I can't. I just he's not to be trusted.
He looks like a snake.
It's a
All right,
fat
so
fucking snake.
his wife's wild too. That's a
I'm so glad they didn't get like that. Like I could not have. even imagined her on some sort of press tour throughout their administration. Turn that back.
One of the
Just
best reels ever. What are we gonna do? Turn the page.
bye bye, Donald Trump. Scary shit, bro.
Yeah, it was. Her eyes get all bulgy. Ooh, Smeagol. All right, last thing on current events. He also wants to take the canal back. It's his other ambition.
Jimmy Carter gave it away for $1.
51 miles of canal. He wants to take it back. I mean, he makes a valid point in, you know, we we paid for it. The agreement was to uh, help them get their independence from Colombia. They got their independence, and then Jimmy Carter gave it away for $1. And now, they're charging. I don't know. To me, I think we pay annuity on it as well, but it's in the treaty that if it ever falls to any type of terrorism, or it's ever uh, comes under other control, then we can step in. And so it's just interesting because they charge us so much. I mean, I've been there. The amount of ships that are just waiting to pass through this thing uh, is is pretty wild, and the amount of money, it depends on the type of ship that it is, but the amount of money they get on these ships, like, I go there and I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, I wonder, like, how much is it for like a cruise ship to come through there? It's millions of dollars. Like, it's a lot of money for them to pass through there. I was over here naive. I'm thinking like, oh man, it's gonna be like 10K or something like that. Pump those rookie numbers up. So, and it looked old when I was there last year. It looked, like it needed some refurbishing. So allegedly there's all kinds of leaks and it needs repair, and they're asking us to repair it. And I don't know. I think he's wrong in saying like, screw that. We we paid for it. We gave it to you basically for free. It's a lucrative thing. We should be able to pass our ships through there at the minimum at a discounted rate. Maybe not free, but at a very discounted rate. And now you're asking us for money to fix this thing. What have you been doing with your money? Where's it been going? These ships been passing through this thing for a very long time. So I don't know. I think it's very interesting. I'd love to hear y'all's take on it.
take that motherfucker back. Playing games with it. We've been. I mean, we got at some point we gotta stop fucking paying to be the victim of our own demise. Whether it's the fucking canal, whether it's the Middle East, whether it's Ukraine and Russia, whether it's setting nukes off in outer space just to see what happens. Like why the fact that we funded that program back in the day, any of these programs where it's like at the end of the conclusion of the programs, like no, we've developed a super disease that can kill mankind. Well, thank God that's what we've been funding. Thank you for spending $3 billion trying to figure that out, how to kill us all.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of the, like he said with the Middle East, I feel like it's very reminiscent of that. Like when we go into these other countries, we build infrastructure, we do all these things, and then somehow it ends up coming back to bite us in the ass. And I don't understand why though when they made that thing, like going down the road, like nobody was thinking like, okay, you know, you guys get X amount per ship, and we get charged this amount because we're building it or whatever. I don't know. This should have been agreed on prior instead of just later down the road when like now. But I don't. This kind of goes back into what I said earlier. Like I feel like right now we need to focus on like
America.
what's going on here right now. Fuck the Panama Canal. We can figure that out down the road. Like I just feel like that's a irrelevant topic considering all things that are going on in the world right now. Um, we can work that out down the
It's
road.
a money maker though, man. I'm telling you, like that's a if it was like,
Everything
hey,
is
let's go in there, we'll do our repair. I mean, there's two different locks, and they're talking about they're building more, so it's like you can keep one up, keep one serviceable, fix the other, vice versa, keep money flowing in, and if it comes down to it, I mean, I'm not saying that's what we need to do, but if it comes down to it, like this is pulling, make it a deployment for some of our military folks if that's what it comes down to. But Panama doesn't even have a military, so it's just one of those things where it's like they have their police, but they don't have a military. So, not that I want to go and invade that or anything, but it's one of those things where it's like we can make the coin that we stop belly aching about it and go just make the coin. And to what you were saying is it's always our exit strategy. We always have a very weak exit strategy in the way we get out of these situations. So,
yeah, but even though it's a money maker, there's plenty of other things that we're doing that generate money. That's just another avenue. Like, I mean, again, you're trying to take in Canada, Iceland. You're trying to take in the Panama Canal. Like it's just too many things at one time. Like you're just spreading yourself too thin. Then you're supposed to stop this war in Ukraine, and all this stuff that's going on in the Middle East. And then with China, it's just like your attention can only be divided so far before you're focused on one thing and this shit just falls behind and never gets done. And if not, gets worse than what it currently is.
well, Panama is a business mecca. I mean,
But
it's
we're not
kind of
even on
like
bad terms with Panama. We've never really been on. We've had a pretty good relationship with
they
them.
don't love us, I'll tell you that.
I mean, no, again, nobody really loves. Again, we said this multiple time. Nobody really loves American government because to them, we are overstepping. We're coming into their lands and we're taking control and we're saying this is what we're gonna do, and this is what you get, and this is what we get. They don't like that. That's like somebody coming into your property and saying, you know what, you're not running this house correctly. This is my shit. You can have control over it Monday to Friday, but over the weekend, it's my house.
I
Like,
mean, technically they can because you don't own it. Even if you
what
owned it, you don't own it.
in this situation, yes, but I'm just saying we do this all the time. We do this every time, like Middle East. You can say all these military bases that we have in all, across the world. Like, yeah, we built it, we put our money into it, but again, we're in another country and making demands. Like, again, that doesn't that see if it works the other way around. See if another country can come here and say, "Oh, well, we built this. We're making demands. This is what we do." Hell no, Americans will be up in arms about that shit. And they'll be pissed off. This is America. No, they'll be screaming from the top of their lungs. But
And
it's
weed
like
those people out, my friend.
it doesn't. Yeah, no, I don't know. I see both sides of it. As far as business, yeah, it's probably great for business, but I just don't think it's a necessity right now. Um, 2 years, maybe we should be talking about Panama Canal, but you haven't even gotten office yet, bro. Like, let's knock out some of these things that you said you were going to do first before we
Or
talk about.
maybe it's just FUD. He's just throwing it out there to get us all to spread thin and think about all these different things, and they got some other stuff going on. Take the
It could
attention off
be.
of what's really going on.
It could be. It could be. I mean,
So,
Well, I think that's ultimately the question. What the fuck is going on? Like,
right.
yeah,
where's the report of what's going on? What's going right? What's good? I mean, because you watch the news, it's just so fucking delusional. You couldn't believe it. I seen a clip today. The guy said President Trump would be getting the best economy that any turnover of any president of all time in history. And I was just like, I don't even that like this is just blatantly disrespectfully lying at this point. Like this is crazy.
That's that's not good.
they're doing everything they can to make their administration look in the best way possible, look as good as possible, and at the same time making it harder on the new administration. Like those hacks that we talked about last week, like it almost feels like it was allowed in a way. Like, oh yeah, we just had a hack. We had some confidential files to hack right before this transition. Like I don't know. It just feels I don't know. Feel staged. Feel staged.
Yeah.
Let's make Biden look like he was great and he wasn't as bad as he was. But back in July and June, everybody was roasting him how terrible everything is, the economy and just the wars in the world.
He's
I mean,
delusional, man. Get him out of there. He doesn't know what he's
delusional
doing.
man. He
He's
doesn't know what
sharp.
stage he's on. No, he's sharp my
They
ass. He's
said he's
dull as
sharp.
hell.
That's what Corinne Jean Pierre told me. She said he sharp.
That's like
Oh,
the blind leading the blind.
before we leave this current events topic, my favorite thing this week, favorite reel was when Kamala had to read the certification of Trump. That was my favorite reel of the week. Second up was when she swore in the Nebraska governor. Maybe it wasn't a swear in, but the Nebraska governor's husband went. Kamala extended her hand to shake his hand, and he just looked at her with the blank stare, and she was just like, "That dude was all of us in that moment. It was awesome." But oh, any more current events? Y'all good with that?
Mm,
Y'all ready to talk some crypto?
sure.
Let's jump in it.
Fucking
All right. Well,
nightmare.
before we go into crypto
Oh.
talk, I'm gonna share what I'm sipping tonight. Can't even see because this motherfucker blurred out. Heaven Hill, 18 year. There
Ooh,
she is.
fancy.
I
See how
hit
that
a
bottle
few
opened
lick.
up like that?
Like a clam.
120 proof, I believe. Yes, 120 proof. Obviously, it's 18 years. Um, and it was released last March, and I got lucky enough to get my hands on a bottle. Um, right off the rip, took way too big of a nose on that. It singed my fucking nose hairs. Get some like some cola in there and some cherries.
Cherry
But
Coke?
we're almost there to cherry coke. Got these sweet little Glens from my boys out in Oklahoma. Cheers, y'all.
That boy over there drinking that gallon like a fucking bodybuilder. Those are the
So
guys
I'm
that
getting
are taking shit serious in the gym when they walk around just got a gallon of water 24/7.
I'm getting vanilla. I got some cherry, and I got root beer on my palate. And then the finish is like a little leathery. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. Let us know what you think. Drop a comment.
Yeah, definitely drop some comments. We need some comments in the section down there. We got some spam bots down there talking about they need help with their wallets. We ain't helping anybody with their wallets. We're not
We don't
doing
do
that.
that. We
That's a
don't do that.
scam. That's a
We
scam.
don't
We're
do
not
that.
doing that. We can say give a little advice on it, but we're not step by step. No.
So I'm just gonna jump right into the crypto news. The CEO for Ripple, what is her name? What is her name?
The CEO or the president?
President Monica
Monica
Long.
Long.
This lady was, you could see she was just like, she wanted to say so much more, but she's holding it in. And she just, and the words I use is she is gushing. And so she was asked about the new Ripple stablecoin and ETFs and timeline on that, and she responded with imminently. But when they asked her that question, she was, God, I want to say so much more.
You wanted to spill the beans.
Uh-huh. So I think it's a matter of time, and I think Brad Garlinghouse made a comment about signing more U.S. deals in the last 6 weeks since the election than they did in the previous 6 months. So all that is good stuff. Granted, that's like straight towards XRP, but that's if XRP is doing it, that means other CEOs and presidents are making moves within the space. So the trajectory, while the market uh, has been very choppy from a day-to-day view, the trajectory is still up and right. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a great sign that the CEOs and the presidents are having a lot more conviction behind the space to go and sign all these deals to move things forward. Whether it doesn't matter who it is, that feeling is probably across the board for any crypto company. Like I'm sure like Charles Hopkins, he's he's probably doing the same thing. It's just Cardano is one of those projects where it's more like quiet. Like
Mm-hmm.
they don't really announce a lot of things. It's very low key.
Yep.
Um, but I mean, I think that everybody's excited about this. As far as crypto, everybody's excited about Trump coming in, because he's already been very bullish and a lot of statements he's made positively about crypto. Um, 2025 is going to be an exciting year. As far as the chop goes, I mean, we're just chugging along. Like, I think that was a little manipulation we seen just recently when we were rising up to 104 and had that big sell off down to where we are now, about 94.
Love
I
that
would
I
say
bought
that the
more
very
today.
same people that are buying the Wall Streets, I think they're kind of, playing in on this too because they want to load up as much as they can around this 90 to 100 range before Trump gets in there, and then it gets to a point to where they can't hold it to that price point anymore. So, I mean, again, I think come February, March time, it will be very telling. That'll be a good time because it will already have been 30 days since he's been in office. We already know what, have a good idea if this reserve is coming into play or whatever policies they decide to push. So, and then traditionally speaking, Bitcoin does have good months in the bull run around that time frame.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I could do to add to that. I just, keep your eye on the ball, pay attention to who's buying during these liquidation phases. Who loaded up today when it's crashing. ETFs buy another $1 billion. El Salvador buys another, $1.1 million. Everybody continues to buy. So trust the process. It's ups and downs. Everybody wants to talk about the ups and then wants to question everything in the downs, but then goes back up and they're like, I told you about this fucking coin, and it drops again. And you just gotta ride the wave.
For sure.
So as you were talking, I was kind of thinking about this. Do you think so? Right now, obviously, it's mostly asset managers that are scooping this up and retail, right? Is is the rest of companies and institutions, are they waiting on inauguration? They waiting on something that Trump says? What are they waiting on that's
I
going to
think they're
be
buying it too because there's definitely plenty of companies that are already having it. Like I said, the cannabis program, the townships programs, these localized areas here in Florida are doing it. States are doing it. I just don't, it's hard to get that type of attention when Michael Saylor's blowing his bags out every fucking Monday and Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to get the publicity because they bought a Bitcoin this quarter or what. Well, that'd be huge in my neighborhood, my circle. If I could buy a Bitcoin every quarter, wow. But that doesn't get, what I'm saying? That's not going to get any attention from the stance of the news and what we see on the daily. Unless
yeah.
you're checking a DEX or something, you're not going to really see that. Like, oh, somebody bought zero point 0.5 Bitcoin, which is huge.
It
Go ahead, Bo.
I was just going to say it feels like with the townships and the states, like that's all been just filed. Nobody's done it yet. And so I didn't know if that was you know, that was something that we were just waiting for the Bitcoin reserve to go through or the new SEC placement to be put in. That way they can't come after them. So they're
Yeah, see, who knows? I mean, isn't like Congress off until fucking inauguration, anyways? Haven't they not even been called back? I don't like our government is the most ineffective, one of the
inefficient.
most ineffective and inefficient fucking organizations there is.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, Doge can get it done.
I think they'll have a massive impact. I mean, we can just save money. Like, you two are kind of going back and forth about, well, it's a money maker, this and that. It's like, well, we also just spend a lot of money on shit that doesn't even need to happen. So we can start there
Yeah, we could start saving
in
more.
house,
Yeah.
just on, people swiping their fucking pins or, whatever. Some senator wants to go to Amazon and blow bags out on her government credit card, whatever.
Damn. I had a thought we were talking about this.
I saw the thought bubble queuing up in your brain.
Yeah, it's well, we're run me back, run me back.
Just talking
Oh,
about the
all right, hold on. All
yeah,
right, I got it, I got it. So institutions, you asked if institutions and like people buying. I feel like it's like track, like all the companies and maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, the ones that we might not hear, like to Nate's point, like they could buy maybe 5 Bitcoin, we wouldn't hear about it. I agree, but I also disagree because if it was somebody with a big enough name, even if they bought half of Bitcoin, somebody would catch it and be like, "Hey, look, Microsoft bought half of Bitcoin today." It's not Michael Saylor numbers because that story has been like reran over and over. Nobody's surprised anymore. Like there's no shocking factor
mm,
to Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin. Like it's almost expected now. But if Apple or Amazon or Microsoft or Nvidia or any of these like what they call Magnificent Seven companies, like tech companies, buy even just a little bit, it would cause a shockwave. Yeah, I don't even think they have to buy that much to make impact on the market. But what I do think is everybody, like I said, it's like track. Everybody's on the blocks and they're waiting for the gun to go off. I think a lot of people are thinking the gun to go off is going to be Trump's inauguration, but I think it's going to be people, major companies like that are waiting for the crypto regulation to be laid out for them. So that's probably when we'll start seeing big movement and probably going to take longer than a lot of us would like to see. It might be 6 months to a year before that actually takes effect. Um, but just the rumors and the talks about it, that will fuel price movement and get everybody excited. And
yeah.
again, just to see if he's really standing on business, like if he's hey, I'm gonna do all that stuff he promised in July at the Bitcoin conference. Like, we need to see some of that because, like you said, this is all on a notion right now. We need to
Hmm.
see something come into reality, and then that's when the mega and the perma bulls will all come out of the woodwork, and it's good night bears. Like,
I mean
we're about to go in
the
hibernation.
the reserve. in and of itself would be a massive boost. It's just when is that going to happen if it happens. So
Yeah.
Or how long is it laid out to happen?
yeah, because if it's
Sure.
over, if they're just like, boop, that shit is gonna, that's gonna be a parabolic God candle, as they say, if they were to hit that purchase button all at once. I mean,
Fucking FOMO.
Well,
that would
isn't
be
Cynthia
nuts.
Loomis, her bill is that they're supposed to buy $1 million of Bitcoin a year for like the next 25 years or something?
$1 million worth of Bitcoin?
No, like $1 million every year for the next 25 years. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it.
Well, because I feel like a million's really not that much in the
It's
grand
not.
scheme of it. And they were talking about like what 250 million was
That was the goal.
the goal, but I don't know. We're about to have some clarity here in a second on it. Even if
Well,
it's over 5 years, that's gonna, but a million seems very, very low
it
compared
does seem
to,
low.
I would think it'd be like a million Bitcoin and that would be crazy, but
Yeah. But the thing is, we own a lot of Bitcoin anyway. So if we just came out and even said, hey, we're making a reserve, we're taking what we currently already have that they've seized from, I don't know, the Justice Department, whoever is holding it,
hmm
uh, turn that into a reserve, and then we can add a little more to it. Like you said, I think that's the goalpost. Like, but I don't even know if it needs just that. Like I said, just a bill to pass in Congress that gives crypto companies more clarity and regulation for the Coinbases and the crypto.coms and the Krakens and all them guys. Like that would be a big deal. And then you'll have things like Binance, which is slept like I say Binance is slept on. If Binance USA didn't have Gary Gensler and his goons go after them, they would be relevant today. They're not relevant today because you can't buy anything there with fiat. You have to go send a stable coin there and they move things around. And
hmm
that stifled them because most newbies don't know how to do that. And that's
yeah.
a little more seasoned guy that
Yeah,
knows how
I
to
mean, I
do
used
that.
to have it, but I mean, it was just one of those things where it was like when everything was going on, it's like, let me pull out of here just in case something happens.
I
But yeah, I
agree.
mean, all these, and that was another thing that Miss Long had said. She's like, everything is, there's going to be more, uh, banks are going to be like Coinbase, and banks are going to be, that's what the future looks like. That they're going to be the crypto.coms, the Krakens. Those are going to want to custody your money because that's where it's all moving to, right? We do it all with our banking apps anyways now. So effectively, our money is just crypto right now. It's just in a USD fiat uh, position.
I agree. That's a that's something I use on people when they talk about,
Same.
digital money and all that stuff. I'm like, you're already using it. 90% of America doesn't carry cash. They all have like you said, some of them have their wallet here. I have some things, but I mean, like things like driver's license or I don't know, you got a fucking Starbucks gift card for Christmas, most of some of that's physical, but money wise, it's already digital there. And there's no blockchain to verify that your funds are in Wells Fargo or your funds are in Chase or whoever you bank with. Like,
Just
you
the
know,
bank.
you just have to trust that their word is, hey, we have this money. Oh, and like you said, oh, it's FDIC insured or whatever. Like,
Who the fuck is that guy?
but I don't know if banks are gonna the bank thing because I feel like you have a new age bank on the horizon, and these are the crypto exchanges. You can essentially, like, if you had a job, you could essentially have a direct deposit go to your crypto.com account, and then you could use your crypto.com card to make purchases and buy things with. and then they're getting more into finance and banking with stocks and all that. So it's like it's almost becoming like you ever heard of SoFi? It's like an
Yeah.
online bank.
Yep.
Like it's almost becoming like an all-in-one app where you can do all these things at one spot. I don't think, all the banks will go away, but banking in general, like that industry is in an interesting uh pivotal moment because it's like you either pivot and go against the grain or you kind of go with the natural flow of things. And
Well, they gotta adopt. It's plain
they're
and
gonna
simple. They
have to
gotta
adopt.
adopt. But
But
they
the
can't adopt because there's no
Regulation.
regulation for it right now,
It's
or no
That's why I said
clarity.
that they're one of the players that are in the blocks right now, ready to go, waiting on that gun to go off so they can take off and get involved. But
Hmm.
what I'm saying is, older generation, yeah, that's a great way for them to get involved in crypto if they can just go in their banking app and buy crypto right then and there. But the younger people that are already on these exchanges, it's like almost like we've talked about, those are banks essentially, like
Yep.
these crypto exchanges. Or the ones that are real deep in it, that's kind of what crypto was even built to be, was to unbank yourself. So you can essentially take all your money and don't even have to have it in their system, and you can run your life off of this system over here. That's what Bitcoin was originally, intended for. Basically, when you buy crypto or specifically Bitcoin, you're opting out of the current monetary system and into a new one. You can borrow, you can lend, you could stake, interest, whatever, buy and sell, you can trade, there's so many different ways. And then again, once tokenization gets here, it's like, again, that's another reason. Like, what do you need? What do you need a lot of these other things? It's just more uh checkpoints that you have to sign into this account to have this account. When it's like you can have damn near one or two apps that can do what these five can do. It would be more
All right.
streamlined.
Give me your top two reasons to tell a new person to come into crypto. What's the benefit? Top two.
All right,
Secure.
me? All right.
Anyone.
Either one.
So top two reasons is because it's the opportunity of the current generations right now. We're living in the time where it's a gold rush, like we always were taught about, oh, the gold rush and all this opportunity for middle and lower class people to make life-changing wealth. Well, here's another opportunity. And like this isn't like investing in stocks when you're investing in a company. Like this is a whole wave of, again, a new system. This is a new system coming into play. Like I said it on last week's episode. You have two worlds, the crypto world and the real world are merging, and we're getting to witness that. So you don't want to miss out on that opportunity. And then second one, why am I banking? Why it gives you opportunity to, like I said, opt out of the current system. So if you kind of got that a little bit of a rebel bone in you and you don't agree with the current uh world order and system, then you can get into a new one and opt out of it. If you don't trust banks and trust government and companies, crypto is kind of that, specifically Bitcoin is that route to get out of it because it
Okay.
is so decentralized, where every other system we've known our whole life has been centralized systems.
Yeah. All right, Nate. I got a pile of fiat tucked between my mattress. Convince me to two reasons why to put some into crypto.
I'm used to the 15-second bit, so I'll make it short and sweet.
We're getting
Uh,
there.
security/custody, and then growth potential.
Perfect. Okay. Well, since we're going fast, what are your top three cryptocurrencies this week?
Sui, Bitcoin, BNB.
B&B, new player on the map, ladies and gentlemen. Nate, 15 seconds.
Wow. I don't want to say Bitcoin, but I'm gonna go with XRP just
H
because of
bar.
the news cycles. H bar always, and then I'm gonna go with Solana because they're doing some work over there to get to get anti quantum. So I
Yeah,
think
that was some fun news that came out this week.
yeah. So I think most of these coins or companies, I call them companies. I think most of them will be well aware, and they're gonna get in front of this whole quantum, the quantum scare. But
Yeah,
to put a bow on that, you asked me earlier what the real number on that. Cynthia Loomis is looking to acquire 1 million Bitcoins themselves over a 5-year period to represent the 5% of the total supply. So
so
be a
1
good dent
million for 5 years. So 1 million Bitcoin, not dollar value, but 1 million Bitcoin.
over a 5-year period. Yep.
So 5 million Bitcoin over,
No, 1 million Bitcoin
oh,
over a
1 million over
5-year
five
period.
years. Understood.
Okay. Okay.
5% of the Bitcoin supply,
200,000 Bitcoins a year.
which we already have 200,000. So,
Yeah.
which I fucking is my number one talking point when these people are like, they're all this fear mongering. Well, the U.S. might buy Bitcoin. It's like you do realize they custody quite a bit already. So just calm down.
That's a that's a needle mover, boys.
200,000. Yeah.
200,000?
A year. That's a needle mover.
Big
I mean,
time.
if they get that approved, like to me, if they get that approved, and we've briefly talked about it before, if they get that approved and it's over 5 years, like if you had uncertainty, that's certainty or more certainty of, hey, at least we know that it won't tank for 5 years, right? I mean, I personally don't think it'll ever tank. I think it's a store of value and all the other good stuff that we've talked about. But that's the moment that if I was talking to someone new, I'm like, hey, if you're scared, we'll either go to church or buy $100 worth of Bitcoin and talk to me in 5 years. We'll see where you're at. You're welcome. Not
I don't know
financial
if they would
advice.
be able to do it though.
Says who?
It's, says I, because we're already at 19.8 million circulating supply on Bitcoin. There's only 21 left over, and we're not even gonna see that last million in our lifetime. So all that million Bitcoin over 5 years would have to come from the ones that are already existing. So you're either gonna pump the price astronomically and retail, they'll be basically buying their Bitcoins from retail. But it's like where my question and my thought original thought was, well, where is all this Bitcoin going to come from? Because we're already at record all-time low on exchanges. OTC desks are about to dry up. And if we do it, everybody else is going to do it. So then everybody's bidding and buying Bitcoin every day. Where's this million? We won't even make it out of the first year of collecting or trying to build up our 200,000 before I would say 25% of the other countries in the world get on board, mainly Europe and, you
Japan.
know, all those little brother countries that kind of follow along what we do. So yeah, Japan too. So like again, that's why I said where's the Bitcoin going to come from? Bitcoin will be trading at $1 million in no time if that's the case, because
I'm not mad at it.
it's gonna that number that you brought up a couple weeks ago of retail owns 78% or 76 and they only own 3%. That's the only way they can get that million is if they buy from the little guy and they hold it.
Well, think about it. I mean, little guy's going to be trying to get their money. I mean,
Who? Who? Like I'm saying, who? Like the little guy's been working to build up his Bitcoin stack forever. The people that
waiting
are
for
in
this moment.
crypto are in crypto. Man, they ain't selling all their shit. They
I'm
might
not
sell
saying
a little
selling
bit.
all their stuff, but they're definitely they have a number in mind, and with the current market, you could see the shakeout. So I don't think it's a crazy thing to think that if they did buy, even in the first year they bought it, the price spikes up. How many people are going to liquidate their position because they're going to? I mean, it's what they've been waiting on. People been in it way longer than us that
I think
are.
it's less than we think, honestly. Obviously you're gonna have people taking profits, but if you've been in Bitcoin for that long, since 2017 or prior, like you're at a price point where you can get away with selling probably a quarter or half of a Bitcoin and make all your money and then some back. So there's no, if I had 1,000 Bitcoin, it's like there's no point in for me even to sell a whole one. I can just, and if I do, I can sell two or three and probably be set. What if it's at $1 million by then, and some guy's got 1,000? He doesn't need to sell all 1,000. And if you've had the conviction of being it prior up until this point, well, shit, your conviction is now almost a fact. Like it's happening. So, and then, like I said, you don't even have to sell it. You can just borrow against it.
Yeah,
And then again, you have a huge, not huge, but a good chunk of the supply that's just missing and gone forever due to lost wallets.
never coming back.
So
Uh,
that's why I just my mind goes
unless
to
this
thinking,
quantum computer figures out how to bring them back.
Well, they got the one guy he was writing. Did anybody read about that? He had like close to $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. I guess I can't remember, what the story was, but it ended up at the city dump. And he's trying to get that cold wallet out of the dump, dude. He's like trying to rent the fucking city dump and clean it out and just all kind of crazy shit
I
he's
didn't
trying to
hear
go
about
through.
that.
Yeah, I was like, what a nightmare situation, dude. Like, where's my wallet?
You talk about feeling your heart drop. Oh my. Yeah.
Dude, to go to the dump and be like, I know it's here. And then have to somehow cipher. I mean, you could hire a bunch of people and hope you found it. But
What if the joke's on him and it's really in his house somewhere? He's just completely overlooked it. He's like tucked it into like one of those books that have the pages cut out, and he forgot that he did that.
well, what if it's already incinerated? What if they already threw it into the to the fire?
No, I mean that's just that's gone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that sucks. That sucks. But
uh,
those are, people probably didn't think it was going to be any worth anything in the future.
it's only got 10 Bitcoin on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know someone that has a wallet that just lost what was on there, and I can't wait till I get to that level of security in my life to be like, yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, that's all there is to it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
You can
can't
sit
cry
around
over
and
spilled
question it
milk.
all day. I can't bring the bitch back online. There's nothing I could do.
I have a friend of mine. He had a laptop. Me, he
He's
probably had
talking
like
about me. He's
150 on
talking
there.
about me, by the way, Corey.
I knew you were rich, man. I fucking knew it.
I'm definitely not rich, but
Man, you're
Guy's
you're
been in
you're you're
XRP
Jason
since
Momoa's
like
double.
you're
2014.
welcome.
He had XRP at pennies on the dollar.
I still got it at pennies on the dollar.
Yes. All right. Total spot Bitcoin ETF volume.
Billion.
Uh, she has broken 1 billion in the last 24 hours, but you wouldn't know looking at it.
Because everybody sold all their Bitcoin. Okay. You sold it to fucking BlackRock, you idiot.
We shot up to
Clearly.
104. We came down. We're floating around 94 right now. Um, I don't know if do what you want, but I see these red days as buy days. So that's what I
We're in
did.
dip season. We're in buy the dip season. Like I feel like that term is overused. People will be screaming buy the dip in a bear market. You don't want to buy the dip in a bear market because this is going to keep dipping. But we're in a bull market in the last phase of it. So there's, like you said, they're buying opportunities. Don't get discouraged or bummed out. Um, this goes to
No
the
bum
point of
here.
last week. We talked about this. You got everybody was freaking out. There's a headline that there was 3 million outflows of Bitcoin. Look what happened. There was big purchases. Price went from 90, where it is now, 94, 95, up to 104, 103, crashed right back down where it was, and then they bought a billion more. So it's all relative, in the sense of you got to watch what they do and not watch what they say. You know, if they've been buying billions and billions in a week, and then you see them 200 or 300 million, that's nothing. That's
Yeah.
nothing.
And just for reference, the index for altcoins at 46 over 100, and the fear and greed is now down to 49. That
That's really
excites me.
good.
That
Yeah, that's
excites
good.
me. That gets me really excited. I'm glad everything kind of came back down. We were pegging 86. Well, we were on 86 for felt like a month there. We were at 86, and I was like, this thing needs to, the fear and greed I'm speaking on needs to come down because this isn't good right now. But that's all I got for the week. Anyone else?
Um, I was just gonna touch on the fear and greed. Like, I think that we're in a good spot for that. That give We've reset as in the sense of far as price and built a nice strong foundation in
Mm-hmm.
the high 80s, low 90s. So this is we said 100 was the floor, but it obviously now we know hindsight 2020 vision that it's really 90. But fear and greed index last time we were around, this area and we seen a big run was right before election. So we were sitting at about 50 and we're at 49. So
Love it.
it seems to be lining up with
Hunger
Cheeto Man
Games.
getting into office in a couple weeks and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see another rip.
Nate,
I want to see
anything
120.
anything to tell the people for this week?
I honestly don't have that much left for you people. You disappoint me. So get your shit together.
Corey, any
Hey,
sign off thoughts?
buy and hold. Just think every time you sell, you're selling into the institutions because retail's not here yet. That's my thought.
All right. All I gotta say is the world's crazy. Do what you gotta do to find your peace on the daily, and like and subscribe. Appreciate you.